That was so controversial. Sir.
Sure.
Incoming transmission.
Hello world, it's Berto Prey 5 Peppa, and welcome to a stream by Admiral Teague. This man has asked me to provide a video to him. He said he didn't care what I said in it, to be honest. So I said, I can do that. I can do honest. The truth is, Admiral Teague, I don't really agree with most of what he says about Star Trek. The man has barely seen Deep Space Nine, to which I have seen over every episode many, many times. I've seen every episode of Real Trek. That is every episode of the original series, the animated series, the animated series of the 1970s, not new Trek. All of the original series movies, all of the TNG movies, all of Star Trek The Next Generation, all 7 seasons of that, all 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine, all 7 seasons of Star Trek Voyager, all 5 seasons of Enterprise.
Incorrect.
And then I've seen, of course, multiple times TNG, TOS, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. Not talking twice, but 3 times, 4 times, maybe 5 times, or more. Every movie, of course, 1 through 6, through Generations, Insurrection, Nemesis, First Contact, of course, and even when we got to this 2009 the JJ films, not quite the same, but I've at least seen them all a few times. And yes, I've seen Discovery. I've seen every episode. Discovery, I've seen every episode of Picard, of Strange New Worlds, of Lower Decks, and even Prodigy. To date. Anything out to date, April 16th, 2024. All Trek that's been produced and put out, I've seen it. Does that give me expert status in a courtroom? Am I an expert witness on Star Trek? I would think so. And as my expert witness, do I feel I have a stronger ability to comment on Trek than the Admiral? Well, yes.
Data insufficient.
Now, is everybody entitled to their opinions as to what is, what they like? Of course they are. I'm not going to say that somebody is stupid for liking something that I don't like, but I can say that if you haven't seen every episode, or you've only seen some episodes once that I've seen 6 or 7 or 12 or 15 times, well, then, maybe you should stop complaining and listen to somebody who is many times your senior on the subject. Just saying that Admiral Teague and his anti-DS9 ridiculousness, it bothers me. It bothers me, but whatever. Here he is, and he asked for me to put together this video, to be brutally honest, and I wasn't going to at first, but truth be told, the man doesn't come across as sane. I'm worried for my safety, because I've heard things, and truth be told, the borders of Karoga and are fairly close to Admiral Teague's neighborhoods, and I think that if Admiral Teague wants a video, then Admiral Teague shall get this video. And I think that's just better for me, it's better for you, it's better for them, being the whale. And you see, I feel like if Admiral Teague doesn't get that, kinda not something I would have to explain to somebody who is watching this, perhaps with my set of mind. Anyway, I think we all realize now this is probably not the best idea, but it is what it is. Kapla all. Bird out. But Admiral, if you do use this on your stream, good luck, and God bless. Enjoy. Kapla.
Good evening and welcome to a very special Saving Star Trek. It was 1 year ago today where tragedy broke across the final frontier and one of our greatest creators, and the second in far too short a time, was lost to us. He was much closer to being Germ than Clobby, so we wanted to take a moment and remember him. And Germ, you knew him longer than I did. Why don't you take a minute and just tell us how this day was for you and what led up, how much expectation you had leading up to it? Because I know I managed to still be surprised.
Unfortunately, he was fading for quite a while. He had a certain medical procedure that most of us were compelled to get, and after about a heart failure, he is never really the same.
It's what you think.
Yes. So, but he is always upbeat, maybe a little tired up until the end, but he always kept going.
I think it was about 2 weeks ago this year where he had that final live stream where he kept rereading the same super chat, and we knew. We were kind of scared. We figured he'd go to the hospital and come out again and be all right for a while because we had become accustomed to it, but it wasn't in the cards, was it? Unfortunately for our friend.
Unfortunately.
But let's say hi to everybody who's here. A lot of you knew him too. He was a great Star Trek broadcaster. Hello, Radioactive. Hello to Kimberly Ann Hart. Hello to Buddy. Hello to the Dead Man. It's great to see all of you here with us. Hello, Mark Harkness. We needed you on Saturday. Where are you, sir? You were not. I do not remember seeing your papers put in for leave. Did Mark Harkness put in for a day off on Saturday?
Sure, why not?
I'm going to let it go this time, but we really needed your records expertise there. From now on Saturdays, what we have done is we're putting it all into the video presentation when we can, and we're leaving it to you, the chat, because the chat always seems to know we're going to work this. I'm going to now assume that we have the smartest Star Trek chat going, and you guys will be the ones who answer the questions and tell us the trivia. We'll let you do that. That's your role, and also in the reviews. But you know what? We met up doing Enterprise Catwalk on Bird's channel, and we hit it off right away and had great chemistry. But I guess I would say, why don't you talk a little bit about him as a YouTube personality? It was different. It was not just Star Trek. It was very personal and very fun. And condolences to Mamo Prey. We love you, Joan.
Yeah, definitely condolences to Mamo Prey and his sister and nephew.
Absolutely, the whole family.
Yeah, it wasn't just Star Trek. His whole slice of life stuff with his bed life. It just reflecting on him having to be in that bed all the time. He is awfully upbeat for being stuck in that for ended up being 15 years, I guess.
Zero bitterness at all. The only time we saw displays of emotion was when he felt pandered to. He did not want your pity. If you started doing that, he would come right at you and tell you to fuck off, which was something he wasn't afraid to do. I loved his genuineness. He liked to say fuck you when people pissed him off. He was from New York.
Yeah, as kind and sweet as he was, he always had that New York in him deep down.
Well, he hated New York, whereas I love it. So what are you going to do? I mean, not everyone feel... You know what? Everyone should love the town we live in, and there was a part of New York he loved. He just didn't live in it. He got to go there enough, though, thankfully.
Yeah, he is lucky enough to move just outside of that.
He wasn't too far away from me. He did describe the city as a Borg cube from time to time. Who could blame him? His problems with the UPS, or was it the FedEx man? I forget. But his problems with the FedEx man. His problems with watching his neighbor try to sell his crappy car. There were some great streams where all we did was watch his surveillance cameras with him and be like, my neighbor's an asshole. This car's a piece of garbage. He's trying to sell it to suckers. Or whatever. I mean, it was a while ago now, but it was just like the guys out there trying to sell this car and Bert just kind of mocking away. That was some great slice of life stuff. Then him and his mom would have a great talk. I always wanted to get off the, after the show, I always wanted to call my mom. It was good, friendly. It was wholesome. It reminded you that Star Trek was for the whole family. And it wasn't per se only Star Trek, but it was like equally the life of this man who was, Bird of Prey 5. And it was kind of all things sort of started with and related to Star Trek. Not too heavily, but enough. It was the theme of the show in general. A lot of fun skits. And he never lost his enthusiasm for the idea it might come back. And I think the greatest sadness of all was he didn't live to see this good news that we've been getting really since about 3 weeks ago. I think he would be very pleased to hear some of these things.
Oh, yeah. That Kurtzman may finally be, after long last, in the unemployment line.
We would be so happy to see that. I know that I, for one, I have had enough of this kind of garbagey Star Trek. This, thank God, was so bad that it can't be shaken off. But even if it had been, I think that by now Strange New Worlds would have equaled the damage, because that is just getting far worse every week. And I think we all said that if the Space Adventure Hour one where they took down our heroes had been longer, that would be the worst piece of new Trek since 2009. But it wasn't as long as Section 31. 2 episodes later, they have gotten quite a bit worse at writing Star Trek, and it is now even worse than what we saw. I would categorize Strange New Worlds as they were able to sell a little bit of a sham that it might be a real Star Trek show season 1. It didn't really work out with more Kurtzman involved. I think what happened was he drove off some of the other people. The higher degree of Kurtzman led to more hyper babble, which is the only way to describe the way those characters talk. The Alex Kurtzman storytelling is probably the worst, and it looks like we're going to walk away from that. And I think it's fitting that as we come to this anniversary, the show that brought my show to its final form, where I met you and we started learning, our craft together that we do, was with Bird of Prey 5, and it was Enterprise. Because that seems to be, and I know you're ambivalent at best about it, but that seems to be our best hope for a palate cleanser. You wouldn't turn down a delicious original Star Trek continuity ice cream bar, would you?
I don't know. If they made it, I'd watch it.
Yeah, but if it was like, if we could salt in 15 minutes of excitement with like 7 minutes of like good space battle in there, with Captain Tucker or something else of that magnitude, we probably are going to have to live without anything but, at best, maybe a voice message from T'Pol. At best, right? Maybe she'd do it because I always got the impression that Jolene Blaylock was a very nice person. She came across as beautiful as she was. Maybe it was the character she played. Maybe it was how good she was at publicity. But she always came across very nice. And another thing she had going for her was didn't seem to want to be in the spotlight or much care what we thought of her. She was just going to say what she thought, which was refreshing and nice. It wasn't refreshing at the time, but it was refreshing now.
Yeah, she's always been amicable, and I'm sure she'd be up to do a cameo.
Here's why I think she did Lower Decks. I don't think she's ever watched it and doesn't care. And when they called her up and offered her nothing, she didn't think twice of it, because she's married to Live Nation's Michael Rapino. And really the most important thing here would be, how old is Rivers Rapino, her son? If Rivers Rapinoe is 19 years old, she might do a little bit of like if this show gets a second movie or a season of more than 10 episodes, if we go 23 episodes, if we go a regular season, she might show up for a little bit of one episode. If her kid's in college, she might, because she said she only left acting to be a mom. Hey, the dead man, thank you. Paul Chato said on Friday Night Tights that RDM is going to take over for Kurtzman. Did I see that? RDM, is that Robert Meyer Burnett in reverse, or who is RDM? The name I heard was Michael Sussman. You could just dead man put it in there. Ronald D. Oh, I did. You know what? I did hear that. Now Radioactive will know this offhand, sir. Radioactive, is Ronald D. Moore doing the good Star Trek alternative show, or is he doing For All Woke Kind? For All Woke Kind is one ex-Star Trek creator, and the other guy is more associated with the Orville. And I don't know which one that RDM is with, so I would hope that... I'll say this, though. Ronald D. Moore, whatever you might have to say about him, Ira Stephen Bear might have been the best replacement for Gene Roddenberry, because I think, isn't he not the end of TNG and most of Deep Space Nine, right? Or is he only TNG? Do you remember? It is a tough
TNG.
One. He's a lot of TNG.
I'm not sure about DS9.
Does he do Voyager?
I don't believe so.
By that time, it's Berman and Pillar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Berman Trek again, but you know what? Ronald D. Moore, I wouldn't object to it. I don't think that... I don't know about him running the whole universe. I think what you really want to do is, since this Enterprise idea is on fire, and it is, I think that you feed it more. I know right now, if I'm Michael Sussman, I'm at home, like, talking into a tape machine, walking back and forth through a word processor, getting a snack, going back to my den to type some more. What do you think? You're pounding out that pilot, aren't you?
Yeah, you're going to have something to present the minute Kurtzman head is on that platter.
Right now, what you're doing is you're on the phone with the best Star Trek novelist saying, could you make me a novel where we talk a little bit about how you would bridge the gap to this presidency? A Romulan war novel? Because we can have a lot of action for free in a book. It costs us just as much to talk about action as it costs to talk about, like, you know, brushing your teeth. But thank you, the dead man. I did see that. I'm a little emotional today. I was a little sad today. Not bummed, but, you know, sad. And also just distracted by what's going on. And also I plain old forgot which showrunner they were talking about bringing in. Anybody from Star Trek or Enterprise or Voyager as a starting point, I would want to look them over a little more, see what particular aspect of Star Trek they're in. A lot of people really don't like the Michael Piller stuff. A lot of people have a dislike of Berman. A lot of people don't like Brandon Braga. And Brandon Braga, I think, is most of Voyager, right? Brandon Braga is the Voyager guy? And Wolfgang Pettersson or whatever it is?
I believe Braga is the Voyager guy. But a lot of these guys, since Star Trek, they don't have great records.
No, they don't. The thing is that they were bounced out of Star Trek by some very rotten people who maybe wanted to make them look bad. The way that we have seen the people who took over Star Trek behave has been a real, almost as heartbreaking as what they've done to Star Trek as what they did of my childhood dream of being a Star Trek writer. Do you ever want to do it again right now? Barring a change? Sounds like a nightmare, right? That office, how long would you and I last there?
As long as it took the cops to show up.
Okay, yeah. For All Woke Kind is Ronald D. Moore. In that case, I'm a little less excited, but maybe he's learned his lesson. We've seen people fuck up and get better. He was also responsible for BSG. Yeah, okay, so a checkered thing. The BSG thing did go well. The thing to remember with that is that the core of the show that's really good does not involve the end. I don't blame them for going one season too much. It doesn't mean they don't know how to write, but they did beat a dead horse there, and they might have expended a little more creative fuel and creative credibility than they had before they had that sort of lame season. And then there's marbled throughout the entire series is another lame season here and there of episodes that we could just forget about or want to, right?
Yeah, pretty much half of that show is worth forgetting.
I think maybe when Chief's wife goes out the airlock was when I was just like, I'm a little frustrated with the personal side of this show.
Yeah, I gave up when they made Boltar president and they landed on that mud ball.
The mud ball thing made sense, but you could tell that they were just they were taking time between ideas and they didn't know what to do. But one of our friends' inspirations is Avatar. Bird of Prey's Avatar came from Star Trek 6, so I watched that today. I don't know if Germ had a chance. You probably have it far more committed to memory than me. We found out you're really good with this stuff. But if you want, why don't you open up? Give me your thoughts on Star Trek 6. I don't know how old you are walking into the theater. You want to paint the picture. It'll take as much time as you want.
Unfortunately, I never got to see it in theaters. Wasn't really old enough to regularly go to theaters at the point, and didn't quite have the money. First time I saw it was actually on TV. But even cut down, it's a very good movie.
It is a very good movie, and it didn't have to be cut a lot because it's pretty family friendly. The Klingon blood was changed to Pepto-Bismol color was the big story of this one. That's how they're able to keep it family friendly. And by the way, like the desire to be family friendly instead of drop a bunch of freaking F-bombs and act like an idiot, that used to be like those scenes where Gorkon and his cabinet are assassinated and the blood flow is in zero gravity. Star Trek didn't really do that kind of stuff. And by the way, this is nobody's favorite Star Trek movie. It's good, though.
Yes, it's good, but no, it wasn't anyone's favorite.
It might be Star Trek 6 in, like, everyone's heart, too. I don't know. How do they go for you? For me, it's T-Walk is number 1. 3 is probably the second one.
I always go with 4.
As number 1? Now, that was Bird's number 1. And
Yes.
I find that one to be a fun and enjoyable movie that is very much in the spirit of the show. But that is also true of 3 and 5. And those, especially 3, are a bit better.
Technically, 3 is better, but 4 had heart to it. A little bit more heart to it.
And it's the highest grossing Star Trek movie because production costs, when you walk around in our world, it's just inherently cheaper than building a different world. I think everyone gets that one.
Yeah.
So really, 4 beats 2 for you? You'd rather see them, double dumbass on you than From Hell's Heart I Spit at Thee. It's
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, any day of the week.
Would you say it's more like a season 3 episode, though?
I would say more to end of season 2.
Is it charm, or you love the story, or you love the performances? Is it synergistic? I mean, it's not the best Star Trek story, is it?
It's not
We're deriving from a very derivative previous movie on this one.
Yeah, it's not the best strictly Star Trek story, but as far as feel and heart of Star Trek, it has the rest of them beat.
Performances, I guess, are what we're saying with that. And how weird is it that
it is the most outlandish idea you can think of, and
they
that's
sell
exactly what happened they sell it perfectly, And that was every freaking episode of Star Trek.
This was a little more outlandish than a lot of episodes of Star Trek. I think the Doomsday Machine is more grounded because this one has a Doomsday Machine in it and then that throws time travel at you. And we like it. It was par for the time, but the time travel sequence might freak out some viewers from this generation. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's probably a little much for the, let's say, the limited of imagination on this generation.
It's going to start looking a lot better to everybody soon. Kids, don't worry about it because unfortunately, and we couldn't be more heartbroken about this either, in Star Trek now, what happens is they just simply do not have... They'll throw a really big special effect at us, but there's nothing to see. It's like really dark and goopy, and it looks like shit, and some people said they could see it, but a couple of weeks ago we had this member berry, and the TARDIS is allegedly in this picture. And it's allegedly in the part of the picture you can see. It's near the nacelle.
Yeah, sure, I'll buy that for $1.
That tiny, if you look at the bridge, right? The center light on the bridge, if you go to noon, just a tiny bit past that, way before 1 o'clock, you see that little blue discoloration?
Sure, I'll buy that. Why not?
That
That's
is
the
a
weirdest thing I've
possibility.
ever seen.
That's the strongest possibility. Well, no, canonically, the TARDIS is there because they're not backing off of it. But my contention is it wasn't in the episode and was only in a still they showed us. I have no proof. I haven't gone back to watch again. I don't. You know what? If you can't see it, it's not an Easter egg. That's subliminal messaging. Am I crazy?
Well, why would they want to connect one dying franchise to another?
Those franchises were... You want to... Yeah, honestly, it is funeral expenses. It's also last gasp at relevance territory because what they're doing here is... And I'm going to get rid of that. At conventions, they intertwine. They share tables. They share stuff. And I think it's because both have very little interest and are broke, so they have to wrap them together. And to fill a room, they do their symposiums together, because both shows are basically about the same thing: the personal lives of people who aren't supposed to be the focus of the show or the principal stars, just doing bullshit and talking about a lot of messaging and agenda, which Star Trek, could fairly be said it had a consciousness, but I don't think it had a message. It simply presented us with stuff. I don't know how to really put this one, but we've had this talk a couple of times. In an episode like Court Martial, while there is a statement being made there that everybody's the same, it's through Commodore Stone and his seniority over Captain Kirk. I think that the reason that works is, one, it's subtle, two, it's the future, three, nobody has to consider it as some kind of thing where it's oh my god, they put this person in my space, right? So it wasn't invasive. It's a space that doesn't exist. It's in space, the Starbase Command Center. You know what I mean? And he's having a problem with, is it Deep Space 3 or 6 with Commodore Stone, and Commodore Stone kind of blows up on Kirk. And there's some great stuff in there, but the only thing that's different about this than anything else is that Commodore Stone is simply a human black guy, and he's not too crazy about Jim Kirk. It was possibly overdue activism. I don't know, Germ. What is your view on that form of sending a message rather than the message or activism?
Well, compared to nowadays, it was extraordinarily subtle, but I know back then it was kind of in your face. But it was done with talent. Unlike
It was
today.
done with a, I don't know if it was really in your face that Kirk simply has a black boss, and like it's been since World War II, and we're still having a little bit of problems like fitting society together. This is not a sociology show, so I mean, obviously, like and thank God, if you want to hear that shit, go please feel free to go listen to Hassan Piker. I mean, Snowdub's not on tonight, I don't think. So, I mean, I don't want to. I would say, he does this kind of stuff well. But, hey, Peter Vinkman fan site, hello. And hello, Susan Dolan. I just saw some people coming in. It's good to see you. We're just talking a little bit about Bird of Prey 5 and stuff in his orbit. We're not doing a dedicated show to him, but we're going to leave his name up there. We didn't put it in the title. He has been one of the emojis on this channel for a long time. And he played a role in bringing Jerem and I together to talk about Star Trek. So, we're always happy to remember our buddy. And I don't know, anything in relation to Star Trek 4 you remember him talking about? Like in the video where he trolled me at my request, he's like, it's better for me, better for you, better for everyone. Them being the whales. And he did mention it a lot. Anything he would say about the movie that sticks out in your mind?
Not particularly, just that he would repeatedly say that it was his favorite. I can't remember why, though.
LDG and Deej are out there with passes to this. I know LDG had a little bit of an emotional day. He talked to Mama Prey earlier. Check it out on his channel or Bird of Prey's channel. I only found out about it this afternoon. I was still planning stuff and running around, so I was not able to watch it. I will. I can't wait to catch up with Bird of Prey 5's mom. She's really sweet, and I'm sad to have met her under those circumstances. Maybe she doesn't live too far away. Maybe one day we'll go out to lunch and I can see her under nicer circumstances. We'll get a slice of pizza and talk. But she was a sweetheart. And did you hear her with Deej this morning?
Some of it I had to go to an appointment rather early.
Anything you remember? Just personal talk? Personal and...
It is mainly, and Mama Perry was very impressed and thankful that so many people had shown up to remember Bird.
Yeah, I wish I had known about it in the chat. I knew there was going to be something, but I just didn't know when. I plain old missed it. Sorry, buddy. But we are here talking about you now. So, you know what? Bird of Prey 5's channel is live all the time. You can check in on him whenever you need your Star Trek fix or, your slice of life fix. And, I go there once in a while. I'm still a little too emotional about it to watch him, and I've noticed that, like, for instance, like, the Avatar is General Kang from Star Trek 6, and we say goodbye. Oh, I mean, some of them come back for like 2 minutes in Star Trek 7, but no one cared. It was like a goodbye, but it was a great goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 and 6 have to be looked at kind of differently from the first 4 movies. Both of them were supposed to be the last one, and neither of them truly, really are. We sort of segue out of Star Trek and into Star Trek The Next Generation and Generations, and I think that was a mistake. It should have been done in like multiple episodes of the show. What do you think?
I think it was okay, but it kind of undercut 5 with the release of TNG. They could have waited a bit.
And also the other thing that's kind of part and parcel to the whole story to go full circle and connect everything is Krimlon! Hello! Yeah, we're remembering our friend Bop5. He was a great YouTuber and a great Star Trek guy. So we're spending a couple of minutes talking about him and his legend, because he was a bit of a legend in these parts. I think that's safe to say. And I wish Kronos was here. He was at every Bird of Prey 5 stream, remember?
Yeah.
Always saw Kronos. Always saw Outlaw
the
Bill.
original. Yeah.
Kronos is
Kronos was
OG,
around
Bird of
since the
Prey 5.
time, yeah, from when Bird first started, and even back when Salty Trucker was anti-trucker.
No big deal. Kremlon, you didn't know who he was. He was a great guy, though. It was unfortunate. It was not entirely unforeseen, but it was still, it was not what you want to hear, and you find a way to tell yourself it won't happen for a while. But in the video we showed you, it was only like maybe 4 months before, and you could see he was ravaged. He was healthier and fairly, he looked healthy and fine. Only like 3 years before that, things just got, well, maybe it was a while before that, but he did not look terrible for someone in his condition. He was looking pretty good for a guy who had life in a chair, and a lot of it was he had a great attitude, and it never made him compromise on his principles. And I guess the one thing that I remember him getting angry as fuck about was the episode of, was it Voyager or was it Strange New Worlds, where they're evacuating the ship, and in the 23rd century we've got a guy rolling in a wheelchair kind of knocking people out of the way, looking cowardly and dumb when they're trying to evacuate the ship.
I believe that's the Discovery episode.
And I got to talk to him the day it aired, and he came into the underground hot and angry about it, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
And he vented for a pretty good couple of minutes there with a vitriol that only a genius can summon, and he just absolutely excoriated it. And Susan, if you knew Bird of Prey 5, he was great. I'll tell you, guys, like, I was just like, when I review this show tonight, do you mind if I quote your reaction? He's like, I want you to. That was wrong. That was demeaning. And I'm like, is Captain Pike demeaning? He's like, in what way? I'm like, is Captain Pike, as we saw him in like the menagerie and stuff, is that demeaning? He's like, no, that makes sense. I'm like, but the guy in the wheelchair is why? It's like, what? One is stupid and one makes sense, which I have to agree. Like, Captain Pike was like basically dead in a life support system, and by the way, precedes Davros, but not the Daleks. Do you think Captain Pike in the menagerie is Davros? Or the inspiration?
The look is similar, but I think it's fair enough apart.
Is Pike's chair stolen from the Daleks? I think, again, I go big time no on that one.
Yeah, it'd be no.
It's too logical of a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's just how things would have to be in the future.
And also how it would have to be a prop in that time. It was just a giant box slightly curved forward. By the way, now that we've watched so much Strange New Worlds, do you think that aside, when Spock showed up, was he like, wow, this guy's changed? Right? I have a plan. It's a good one. And it's going to make your life better. He was like, who is this guy, right? If Strange New Worlds was real.
Yeah, they did some weird shit.
And we are anywhere from, 13 to 27 years after Pike being captain, and at least 18 years after his accident in the last Stardate that they got all wrong.
Yeah, that seems about right. But they're just picking up numbers at this point.
I think part of it is they do want to confuse us and they do want to upset us.
Yeah, let's see how well that works.
Well, I mean, they have absolutely no conscience about it, and we're glad you're all here. Let's see. Generation feels a bit TV budget throughout. I definitely agree. I think they came up with a great way to include the original pilot footage with a different actor in current day. Are you talking about that weird interwoven previous episode that starts Strange New Worlds? It's one of the best things they ever did. Did you ever see that? They got a good editor, and they had the guy sort of stir what they had shown us on Star Trek Discovery together with stuff right out of the cage, and they interwove it pretty cool into a previously on that had you almost excited. But then the show starts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that part.
Yeah, they did do a pretty good previously on. But also in the cage, that actor was is it Mr. Leslie?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And he's the guy who gets vaporized by the Gorn. He's like, "Sir, I see them." It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't stand in line of sight of their beam weapons.
Yeah.
That guy just had a death wish, although he might have had a different name, right? That night, it was the same actor, but it might not have been Mr. Kelso.
I'm not really too sure who it was offhand.
They may not have named him. I do know this. That is the worst tactical we ever saw Captain Kirk in his life. Oh, bring down everyone who has top secret information and tactical stuff who might be able to defend the ship with me. Yeah, all right. Yeah, sure. He was sort of thinking with his stomach, though, wasn't he? He was like, I want a good reconstituted meal.
Yeah, something was definitely up.
Back to how they do it now with the modern Star Trek, which is not Star Trek. With that, guy rolling through the hallway of Star Trek Discovery, it's even worse, because Star Trek Discovery is 900 years from now. So imagine a technological advancement from the 12th century, the 1100s till now.
Yeah, it's
God.
I'm excited.
I mean, and a wheelchair. How come he doesn't fucking float, right? I mean, come on. You should have unlimited battery generation. You know what I mean? Everything should have its own little perfectly safe, well thought out. You've had 1,000 years to work with energy here. You know what I mean? Storing energy and generating it. Forgetting wind power for a moment, which, God, the most retarded thing ever was the wind power that they had to show off for that event-free first episode of Strange New Worlds, where they kind of hook you in or make you think it's going something really deep because it doesn't start until the end of the episode, and it's like, well, come back next week and see what happens. Where Pike just rides his horse aimlessly past the wind farm. We need a wind farm in the 22nd century. Was it a museum, Germ? What do you think?
It was something.
It was a weird statement, and that's what Star Trek has been about. These weird statements and rubbing the pander stone.
Oh, yeah, a whole lot of that.
He had a hover seat. See that? No one would have been bothered by a hover seat. There's a backstory in your mind about how the guy got there. That he's using, it's 19th century technology, the wheelchair. Maybe older.
Well, I guess his hover chair was not working, so he went with the backup.
Yeah. I might need this on the planet. Forget about a speedy escape. Yeah, they did. They had a great. There's a show that we've all watched. Crimlon watched it too. You finished Landman for the second time? I just got through a very deep watch of episode 3, where they go out to the plane crash site, and it happens to be near a wind farm, and the lawyer walks away from the truck marveling at the beautiful windmill, and Landman just Would you even talk to Landman? You nod to him, right? He's the kind of guy you nod to.
Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
He makes a lot of sense, and he talks some based stuff that is ostensibly highly believable and probably true. There's a lot of evidence to support what he says. The thing is, he's also mixed up in the petroleum industry, and the entire thing about what a waste the wind farm is ends with her saying, so what you're saying is petroleum is going to destroy us. It's like, I don't see how we get around using it before we run out, and then we're going to go to war way before that happens. We only got 120 years of our culture invested in it. Everything we have is made from it. The tires on every car ever made. And as he's making his point, about how petroleum's in everything, like they cut to her and she's wearing like clothes that were like made with petroleum. And like they cut back to him and he's got his cowboy hat and his sunglasses on, and they've got a lot of plastic and petroleum in it. And she's like, but this'll break even and be good for the environment and stuff. And he's like, they'll never claim back the carbon footprint that it took to haul all the diesel up here, that it took to mix this cement. It goes 12 feet in the ground. It's 35 feet across. This windmill's 400 feet tall. You know how much gas it took to drag a 450-foot crane out here? The whole thing, like, Landman's based, and also, like, they alluded to, in the first moments of episode 1, real serious medical problems or real serious drug addiction. It's one or the other, isn't it? Right? Don't tell me which, but it's one or the other, right?
Probably both.
Well, yeah, because the painkillers for the very serious illness. This is the first thing you see before you see him, guys. In the opening moment of episode 1, he's jacking up some kind of maybe corticosteroids or something, whatever it might be. He might be on chemo. He might just be a drug addict. We don't know. We have no context. It could be freaking like, he could be shooting speed because of the way he acts. I mean, he is fucking crazy. He's really chill and mellow until it's time for him to just like out of nowhere start trashing something or act nuts. Landman, he could never be a starship captain, could he?
Oh no, he would have trouble with human resources.
What's funny is he's close to being a starship captain in the stupidest movie ever made, Armageddon. A movie about Liv Tyler's abs. How ironic. Nothing in that movie has aged well, has it?
No, except for the memories of going to the theater when you were 13.
And her beautiful abs.
Let's just say that movie did more to get young men through puberty at the time than pretty much anything else.
She looked great.
Guaranteed date.
Oh, that too. Yes. All the ladies wanted to see it because it had Ben Affleck, and the only thing that movie really has in the long run is a real good performance by Bruce Willis. It's got a real good performance by Bruce Willis in a role that's not so great. Poor Bruce Willis, his ultimate legacy might be that he could have been one of the greatest movie stars of his generation, and instead he ended up being one of the most lucrative because he could really act.
Oh, yeah.
And he was getting better when he got sick. He was still getting better when he started getting sick. It's just too damn bad. But could you imagine if we had the ability to have him as a 75-year-old, 80-year-old actor? What he could have brought to it?
Yeah,
look what Shatner's doing. Yeah, it really is terrible. But yeah, he was going to Armageddon on. Billy Bob Thornton, is it me or is Billy Bob Thornton a wig wearer? Or does he now have just very questionable regrown hair?
It's all his hair now.
It's pretty questionable though, right?
He got the treatment, but it's all his.
What he's saying is he uses Rogaine, he takes the pills, and he got the, is it called PRP?
I'm not entirely sure.
Protein-rich. What they do is now they can grow back bald people's hair with a needle, they say. We don't know. We're not doctors, right? But they say they can, like, re-stimulate hair regrowth by, like, they do a blood draw, they centrifuge your plasma, and then they abrade your scalp and leave the super rich plasma in the, and it supposedly makes your hair grow back. I don't know.
I don't know. I never used those things personally, so I never looked into them too deeply.
So okay, I see your response, and I see your thing, and that's the question.
Yeah, I think I can make it to that.
All right, that's what we're gonna do then, guys. We got some other stuff to talk about, but obviously, go to Bird of Prey 5's channel. Please, do us all a favor, sub it, check it out once in a while. See a show to which other Star Trek pundits should be held to. He was the bar. He did other stuff too, but he was very Star Trek focused, and he was a great guy. His memory lives on. It's a blessing to us, and I know that every time that we go out there, we're hoping that we can even be a shadow of what he did. Germ, I mean, like I said, you knew him longer. You want to turn the page on this one before we move on with our Star Trek news, and just we saluted our friend at the beginning.
Yeah, I think we did a good job on that.
All right. There's his channel is on screen. Let me highlight it for you. Check it out. You'll like it. And R.I.P. buddy. All right. Back to news at hand. We've been watching Landman. That's becoming more and more exciting. That is going to be. Now, there's no end scheduled for Landman. Just season 2 starts November 16th, a little sooner than it was supposed to start. They changed that start date by 2 weeks earlier, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe they did move it up a bit.
It was supposed to be in December. God, I hope it's not because they think they can keep filming while the show is on. They got to finish that and have every minute that the show runs for to think about the ending. It was filming while the show was still on that messed up some of 1923. 1923 wasn't botched. I wouldn't call it a major flaw because they didn't dwell on the story much, but we had a B story that at the end, Taylor Sheridan kind of, his disdain for closing out that B story the right way sort of showed that it was just a dark distraction to burn runtime and to keep us from being too from burning too much cash with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren and all these other big stars, Timothy Dalton, on and on. It was just a dark distraction. They didn't thread the needle, and at the end of it, like, what happened was they wanted so bad to get out of this season 2 that they maybe season 1 should have been 14 episodes or something, or maybe season 2 should have only been 5. Or maybe if they just kept Alex together with Spencer, a couple of things just. There were no like F's in season 2, but there was a C and there was a couple of B's. It wasn't solid A's just rocking through this whole thing. There was a couple of moments there where we felt that we had our time wasted a little bit, and they didn't stick the landing. But could it be called like top tier streaming because they didn't totally botch the ending or go one season too long? I mean,
At
Westworld.
At this point, this is peak for streaming. Because they normally do mess it up quite terribly.
They do a terrible job with streaming, especially with the pacing. And we saw it again, just happened. With Strange New Worlds, they built up to their big insulting end to month 1 with their takedown of Gene Roddenberry. And we saw their episode 5 blues was an episode 6 blues because of the pacing of how it was dropped. And they knew, but when they were making it, that there was no way that this wasn't maybe even going to all drop at once. So, and also they're lazy as hell, so they did it at the last minute. I still think this show is getting worse every week. We talked about it earlier. Did we tie Section 31 last week with As Bad in in half the time? In 1/3 of the time. That was their shortest episode. It was 39 minutes.
I still don't think it's as bad as Section 31.
It was as bad and a little worse, but it was packed into less time. Is that what you're saying? Or you just think it was in general not as bad?
In general, not as bad because it's not. The fences aren't leaping up at you at quite the same frequency as they did with Section 31.
In Section
it's still
31,
complete dog shit, but it's lower paced dog shit.
Section 31 was their entire 10 episodes of horseshit and what they thought was clever thrown at you in, what was it, about 85 to 91 minutes? It was like a weird runtime. It was barely movie length. And it was all the Alex Kurtzman things we hate, stealing from recent video games, aesthetics that sucked. He's got like this weird obsession with just stealing from whatever video game he sees around. And it was frenetic, fast, crazy. All the characters were gay for no reason. The straight guy ends up deleting himself because he's a fucking moron. That was the only thing he managed to do that had us shocked. Was we said that guy was going to die in 5 minutes, and he made it to almost the end of the movie, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a shock.
It honestly was. I really thought that he would be gone a lot sooner than that. It was. We really didn't think that the white guy in the mech suit was going to do very well at surviving at all. He was the one like straight white character. And he just, I don't know. We thought he would last 5 minutes, but he lasted most of the movie. But then he did what everybody has to do in an Alex Kurtzman movie. He gores out his own freaking eye. And it was just so stupid. That movie was so dumb. It was so intensely nonstop stupid. I think we have actual footage of Germ watching the movie. Oh, that video will not play. But yeah, you found it so interesting you just fell asleep.
Yep. It's a self-defense mechanism. When I'm presented with such boring, unintelligible crap, I just shut down.
Crib was mocking me a little bit, and it's fun. But like, here's the deal: in 1923, they made a bad decision, which was they were going to have it all come to a head in the final 1 hour episode, and it was a stupid idea. So what they did was something happened at Paramount, and they blended episodes 7 and 8 together. And only a little bit was out of sequence. But what ends up happening was, yeah, it was better, but I guess we would have to ask George Lucas what went wrong. Because I think George Lucas knows what happened. It's like they wanted to keep Alex as her own story, and she became sort of the Jar Jar Binks of this, where we didn't care about her that much, and like she kept like moving forward for like fantastical reasons and doing things that seemed to defy her having any success, like drinking the water at the fucking women's restroom at fucking Grand Central Station. Who does that? So, George, when you make a mistake that bad, can you fix it?
Stylistically designed to be that way, and you can't undo that, but we can diminish the effects of it.
Ooh. Would you say that kind of sums up what happened with Alex and her whole storyline?
Yeah, it seemed to me that someone wanted a bigger role for her, and Sherton just couldn't make it work.
Either that, or because she was naked so many times, they had to make her heroic and had to make her sympathetic and had to make her awesome. Because they also kill her off. Like, Krimon was happy in the pay. For Krimon, the payoff was when Alex's character dies. When Alex dies, he was happy. When Timothy Dalton got killed, he was like, eh. But when Alex died, he was like, eh.
I think
I'm
we all
happy now.
appreciated that.
But when Alex died, or
Yeah.
when Timothy Dalton got his?
When Alex got hers.
We were sick of Alex by the time that happened. When they blew their last chance to have her save her own life by having something like the weather change fast, or have her use her own agency to stay alive rather than using it to... The fire in the car was to show she was hallucinating and losing her mind when she starts the fire in the floor of the car. But I guess that bit of convenience where she sets the car on fire in time for her husband to see it from the train, to jump off the train, to run 2 miles in, like, I guess at that time it was probably 35 degrees, but it was too late for Alex. Is that the deal? Because it was like it was supposed to be an April blizzard. She dies on April Fool's Day, or whatever. So it's a very late March blizzard.
Yeah, it's not that cold, especially
Hail, Lemon.
for someone like
Spencer.
Spencer.
Also, he was blooded up and crazy because he saw that and he jumped off the train and ran 2 miles. He didn't have time to get cold. But I do think he pulls some stuff over. Like, I think he pulls her jacket over him too, although he's warming her as well. I think it's not the greatest for him to have to walk. He's like he says, I've carried a quarter of a deer further than this, and you don't weigh as much as that, which is justification enough. But he has a pretty long walk to town. I guess he's exerting himself enough, and what was weird?
Walk to town. He the train
had to walk to the train. That's right. The train did stop. I forgot. He had to walk about 4 football fields,
if that,
maybe 2. But 1923 doesn't stick the landing, and that seems to But it's not terrible. The thing is, compared to Game of Thrones, the ending in 1923 is freaking great. But Landman doesn't seem to be going to end, although Landman himself, barring something happening, him kicking this drug habit or getting cured of whatever the hell he has, and I'm inclined to think cancer right now. They don't tell us this season.
and I think we get at least 3 or 4 seasons of this, barring Billy Bob Thornton being Billy Bob Thornton.
What do you mean, just fucking off and leaving?
Fucking off and leaving, walking off of a short cliff, going for a drive off of a pier, taking something that he thinks is just regular old marijuana and turns out to be laced with bleach. All possibilities with this man.
Falling on top of an old vial of blood that happens to be very, very contaminated now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know he has one of those laying around his house. Yeah, we love him. He's a great actor. We love him on screen. But yeah, I guess real weird guy who starts out as a pizza delivery boy on Evening Shade with freaking Burt Reynolds is, the best way to sum up Billy Bob Thornton. He got to get naked with Halle Berry for really long, super long periods of time, and he gets to get naked with Ali Larder for really super long periods of time in this. So... go Billy Bob. Is he so gorgeous that is it the fact that he's only okay looking that makes these things appealing? I don't get it.
It's a mystery.
It is a little bit of a mystery. What's this, Mark Harkness? Nacelle Store, toys, collectibles. Oh, okay. I've seen the Captain Garrett action figure. It is pretty cool. Let me see if I can just get that up there for our audience. Maybe I can get to the cat. Where's that hyperlink? Here we go. Let me see if I can take a look at it. Yeah, this is the one I'm familiar with. It is pretty well done. And thank God it's not the Section 31 Captain Garrett collectible. That Rachel Garrett was insufferable ass. What were they thinking with that one?
I have no idea.
What do you think?
It's as malicious as they can
of
be.
This one? Not too bad, huh? Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's okay.
Good likeness.
Yeah.
They didn't just stick the thing on Bev's body. It looks different. By the way, I was watching Star Trek last night. Oh, we're gone. We're back. I was watching Star Trek last night. There's a WPIX in New York has like a carrier wave channel also, like a channel 11.5 is called Heroes. Have you heard of this channel? It must be owned by Paramount.
No, I haven't had television in a good many years, so
This is
probably
across the
wasn't
air
around.
TV. It's air TV. And Heroes does this. 6 o'clock TOS, 7 o'clock TNG, 8 o'clock Deep Space Nine, 9 o'clock Voyager, 10 o'clock Star Trek Enterprise.
It's a great lineup.
Do you have any idea how many times I've just vegged out and watched all the way through? And how come there's so much Deep Space Nine? Why is it that I only see the same 5 episodes every fucking time I watch? It was the one where the Klingons have the weird space malady that they bring to the ship and everyone becomes OCD. They do it again on Enterprise. Cisco becomes like he's like 3 joints out. He's like, I'm designing a clock. Remember that weird one from season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep seeing that one and the one where Odo turns into Silly Putty in Major Barrett's lap from season 2. Whenever I watch Deep Space Nine, it's one of those. And now that I know that Julian Bashir is Malcolm McDowell's nephew, I always see it. Quick question as we get ready here. What do you think as far as our next week's watch? We have 2 episodes on Enterprise. Currently the hottest Star Trek show. I'm going to take a look at Enterprise season 3 episodes. And let's take a look at what's coming up next. I think we've gone from
was one of them.
I think so. What was going on was we were in a point where it was like one bad, one good reliably for a little while there. Season 2 wasn't so good. Season 3 is a lot better than I remembered. Even Similitude was a slightly better episode than we remembered it being. Carpenter Street did suck. Chosen Realm and Proving Ground were last week. Melissa Blink is going to come back in a convincing performance I saw on regular TV last night. Yeah, Stratagem and Harbinger, which is feuding between Reed and Maze, disrupts Archer and Fox's investigation of a rescued alien. T'Pol confesses her feelings for Trip, which is weird because she shouldn't have feelings, but she's been hanging out with humans and smoking a lot of space crack. Is that what's doing it?
I think it's that time of the decade for her.
It might be a pun too far for her. Listen, we're going to cut this one short because we only had like a few things to say tonight. Tuesdays will be a longer, stronger program in the future. It's been bad schedule-wise. This Thursday, still looking very strong. You going to be around for Strange New Worlds?
I should be.
Are you looking forward to watching it?
I'm looking forward to scrubbing it from my brain afterwards.
Do you at least enjoy the gripe sessions where we all go insane in group chat? Some of those jokes that people make about how much Sean and JT are hilarious when they start talking about how much they hate the show, and Krimlon.
But I'm still glad I have a neuralizer for every Friday morning. I can just wake up, look at the little red eye, and forget.
Radioactive's right. Radioactive's part of the Strange New Worlds panel. We'll be here on Thursday at 11. We should have our full crew, and we're going to be... That Strange New Worlds did something that I didn't think they could ever do. I am so excited for September 11th to roll around this year so that this piece of shit show ends. And there's no more Kurtzman Trek, guys. There's no more Kurtzman Trek. It's all done. Any of it that he's going to do it's already been filmed, if I'm correct. And the only Kurtzman Trek left is that it's been filmed and he's broken it up over multiplicable seasons, correct? Yeah.
Sounds all right.
You know what, Krimlon? The day was already fucked up, right? So who cares? Would it end on September 11th? But Germ, you want to head out, right? You're
Yeah, I gotta get headed out.
all right. So, this has been a historic couple of weeks here because I haven't gotten kicked out of StreamYard in a while. So there's going to be a solo Admiral Teague show coming up. I'm thinking Friday afternoon. Like, as you guys get ready to watch Doomcock, maybe I'll show up and I'll hang out with you and it'll be a little more unstructured because we've got great numbers right now. And, Germ, I think at risk of sounding like another famous New Yorker, did you know that we have the best numbers ever?
That's what I've been told.
2,880 of you have chosen to join me. I thank you from the very bottom of my my heart. I really do. I'm so grateful. The last couple of videos did absolutely amazingly. 500's the new normal, and 1,300 happens a lot. The Enterprise sequel video went a lot longer than 2 days. It had steady interest. There's nothing super viral in this. We're not making, MCU videos all the time. So that for us was a major victory. And I think that we can now say this in Germ as we get ready to close out. Is there a bigger Star Trek Enterprise focused regular YouTube program at all? Anywhere in the world that's independent? Anywhere? Not one.
Living.
No, you're right. There were better. Right now, at this moment, is there a better Star Trek Enterprise reviewing team on this planet than JT, Sean, yourself, and me? I'm just a good moderator. I'm an okay reviewer.
I think we're pretty good.
I'm getting better at the moderating, too. Last time, I only talked for 70% of the show. I'm looking for 60% this time. We love you all, and I think that Germ would want us to show people Sydney Sweeney. I know that. You guys don't go anywhere. Tasha, is it okay if we show Sydney
Data.
Sweeney?
I'm only going to tell you this just once. It never happened.
Have you seen Denise Cosby these days?
Not bad for 60.
She's unrecognizable, though. She had too much face surgery. She doesn't look terrible, but wow, yeah. You have to hear her voice and see her name on screen to get it. It's not Bridget Fonda, but she just does not look the same anymore. All right, guys. You know what? If you're going to destroy a franchise, what do you use?
Pure anti-proton. Absolutely pure.
It was bad, but what attacked Star Trek?
She was attacked by what appears to be essentially a robot.
All right, Bob 5, this one's for you, buddy. We'll see you on the other side. I hope you're with Dad O'Prey and all the people that you talked about missing, and we love you. Any final thoughts for Germ? For Bird Germ?
He was one of the best YouTubers out there. He's the one that got me into this, and I'll always be thankful that time he got me through when my mother passed away.
That is a great way to end it. He was there for me when I had my hard times, too. He was a really great friend, and we're a poorer place without him. You know what? Let's all try to be a little more like Bird of Prey 5, and in his honor, here she is, Miss Sydney Sweeney.